I still like doing the like, oh, maybe it's hell stuff.
It's hell.
Well, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
hell.
like, it's weird.
I mean,
So-
again, this isn't a particular... The tone of this game isn't bad. And it's a lot more creative. And in a lot of ways, it's more original than Doom and Doom 2, I have to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were trying to make a coherent canon, a coherent setting out of this, whereas Doom and Doom 2 were like, you're a dude with a gun, and you're on Mars, and Satan.
We're under attack by an unknown enemy force. Fall
Yeah,
back to Marine HQ
and
to
like
regroup.
also, let's just literally swipe from scans of Dungeons and Dragons manuals to create our monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
I say again, fall
And we'll
back
have
to
a
Marine HQ
MIDI
and await further orders.
metal soundtrack.
You know what I really hate about this game? If I really had to say something I didn't care for so much, all the weird, twisted metal Space Marine stuff seems to be sticking around for Doom 4, and I'm not crazy about the way the Space Marines outfits and ships look.
Oh yeah?
To be honest, I've never liked any Space Marine outfits or ships, so... So are these like loading screen elevators, basically?
Squad leaders give sit reps.
Yeah,
No,
that's
these
exactly
are
what
actually...
these
Are they really? I don't think they are.
Oh, really?
Not on the PC, anyway. No, because when it goes to loading in this game, it goes to a real loading screen. This is just to build the setting. You know, it's like, hey, it's an airlock. We're pressurizing the airlock.
I was just oh no, yeah, the elevators. The elevators are for loading, generally.
Yes.
Like, it actually, like, has a loading screen, though, because that's pretty much how they rolled. Wow, you're conserving ammo. Okay, there you go.
You say that, Rudscar.
Well, part of the problem is I don't want to make the stream too dark for people to see, and using the gun is not a good way to do that.
Alright. Yeah, this game, like, it made a decision that it wanted you to be alternating between the flashlight and the whatever you can use to defend yourself as a way of ramping up the tension, and I respect that choice, and it does in fact make a lot of this game nerve-wracking, but it also pushed a lot of people, like, it pushed them to that place where they didn't want to take responsibility for the stupidity of their character who apparently cannot mount a flashlight onto a gun somehow.
Or just hold it under his gun.
This is Command HQ. Report directly to Marine headquarters. and
They
await
walked
further
it back,
orders.
and that really bothers me, because the BFG edition, which this is not, makes it so you can basically turn on your flashlight whenever.
I also do not
Yeah, I
approve
mean,
of that.
I agree with. I think Seamus was the one who was saying like, "Oh, these zombies can use guns. Gotta be careful, caster." I think Seamus was the one who was saying like that was a really interesting aesthetic choice to have it so you can't use the flashlight while you're using the gun. I think that's interesting.
By the way, I hope you like
But
the sounds of Marines dying, because that's going to be the soundtrack for like the next 20 solid minutes.
But I totally get why lots of people didn't like this, especially in Doom, like this game is supposedly a Doom game, but you're like fumbling around with a flashlight or a gun.
The thing is, this game actually feels pretty good. Like, the mechanics of this game feel pretty good. The movement, the shooting, you know, all feels crisp, responsive. You know, the guns feel like they have some impact behind them. In a lot of ways, I feel like this game is a little bit underrated just because it's not... You know, it's kind of trapped between survival horror and bro shooter, I think, in terms of the genre it's going for. and it's not a great example of either, but it's also not a bad example of either, particularly. You know, like, there's some just, like, run-and-gun shooting parts in this game, a little later on, that they're actually pretty okay.
Other than Fear and maybe Clive Barker's Undying, I can't think of many other games like this. Like, I can think of other action horror games, but...
Yeah, in
this
retrospect,
sort of...
Fear definitely drew a lot from this.
I'm not really a big fan of the thing this game
although-
does, where when it introduces a new demon, it goes to cutscene.
Yeah. I think that kind of, again, ties into, like, the whole, they want to make it cinematic, but it's also
Yeah, and they
not.
find... Because they need some way to make sure the player sees the monster in time to respond to it, because the monsters all disintegrate
Yeah.
after you kill them. But, you know, it doesn't always come up with a creative way to do that. It does actually have some creative solutions later on, where there's actually a really great moment where, like, it has you go into a room to pull a lever, and then you see, like, a monster through a bulletproof window arriving for the first time. It's one of the pinky demons. And you see, like, the door buckle, like, a dozen times as it jumps up against the door. And then it stops, and then, like, 3 seconds later, it jumps through the window instead. And, like, that's how they introduce the monster.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good moment, but they're not always that smart about it. Chris, you are making friends with imps.
I am running this windowed. With it being this dark, it's really hard. Like, I've got a bunch of, like, I've got the vent window and my windows crap all up, and it's all white. And then I'm playing this
There's
game
also-
that looks like this.
You know what, Chris? Go ahead and play the PDA message.
Which one?
Or just go in. Just show people what it's like. I don't know. Find like the most recent one that probably has something to unlock that cabinet.
Oh, this was the other thing. They don't give you the codes. You have to listen to them. And not only do you have to listen to them, but some of them are in emails and some of them are in audio logs.
Now the one thing is you can lower the PDA and keep listening to the audio log.
The number of these reports are up by a lot. People are truly frightened. Rumors we're hearing about experiments.
But then a monster appears and there's gunshots and chaos, and you hear him say, "I've locked the medical supplies in my cabinet, giving it the code." And then you have to listen to the whole thing over again.
Someone's reporting in
You don't have a clear path back to HQ.
Keep my director
Stock up on ammo, establish a stronghold.
You can also see how there's like crosstalk between him and the sergeant dude.
Don't help him. Oh. Okay, that works.
Alright, I know there's an imp somewhere.
Yep. Did you ever get around to reloading that shotgun, Chris?
I have no ammo.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, I have ammo.
Ammo is for the weak.
Ammo is for closers.
Shotguns are for closers, actually. That's the advantage of shotgun. So one thing you won't see Chris do very often, one thing that does, to this game's credit, take you a while to have the courage to develop, is almost every enemy in this game you want to use the shotgun against. And you want to dance in real close and you want to nail them with the shotgun at close range, preferably in the face place.
Roger that, Fire Team 2. Fall back to the nearest station and set up a CP there. Out.
Did you know Steve Bloom can't get back to the base?
Hey, you guys locked me out. What the fuck? There's like 40 of me out here. Jesus. It's not even time for the annual Steve Blum Camp Out BBQ.
Those health terminals are really a blast from the past, because even by the time this game came out, the idea of like health terminals you stand next to heal yourself with was
was on the way out. The idea of health as a numeric resource. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Halo is really what drove that, and...
Yeah.
All units, this is Sergeant Kelly. Fall back to Marine.
Oh yeah, the machine gun. Or as I like to call it, the tinkle cannon.
It doesn't feel that bad, but yeah, it does feel kind of limp.
Yeah, it feels like this is a transitional weapon. You stop using it once you get the next gun in the series,
The minigun?
but you
Like,
don't stop using. Yeah, the minigun.
the minigun
really.
is literally just a big version of this.
I am unable to reach
Yeah, I know. The point is, you want to use the shotgun on almost any enemy, and if you want to sustain fire, you don't want to just tickle things from long range. You want the fucking minigun.
Hey, you. Up here.
Hey, look, I made it. I made it in, you guys.
Another Steve
Come up
Blum.
here.
I actually don't remember if you figure out what happens to this guy. He might survive for all I know.
Chris shoots him.
It's like a shockwave. It passed through the entire base.
So this guy is one of like, oh fuck, yeah, okay, that's true.
That shouldn't be funny, but just the fact that they recorded all that dialogue and they just let you go like, nah, my Doom Marine doesn't do that. My Doom Marine is a vicious murderer for no reason.
To be fair, what could he have possibly told you that you would need to know, unless it was like a code?
You could have warned me about the evil skull skeletons that are up ahead.
Hey Marine, you better watch out, there's demons up there.
God damn it, I just walked back into this room.
One reason this game works is that they realized... So, one tip for computer graphics is metal is really easy to do. Like, metal and plastics are actually really easy to get right, comparatively speaking. So if you have an entire world that's metal and plastic, you can actually do a pretty decent job with some not so great technology, chronologically speaking.
What is this shotgun got like a thing that pulls me backwards?
I really look forward to all the comments angry about the armor shards you're passing.
I am playing this to get through as much content as we can so we can keep talking about monsters and levels and stuff. This is not a thorough playthrough. Also,
That's
not my best playthrough. Normally I'm much less awful at this game.
It's worth mentioning that also
We believe
the
you.
average person will be much more cautious than Chris is being in playing this game.
Move to your last known RP and fortify your position. We'll find you.
Like, especially back then when this tech was newer and the enemies were more convincingly scary. Like, you would... I remember I would advance very slowly and carefully. There was none of this gung-ho running in shit.
You know what's great is if you really wanted to, you could play System Shock 2 like this.
That's the thing, yeah. You know, you honestly can, if you know what you're doing.
It doesn't feel nearly as good, but
Well, I mean, this game doesn't feel... Like, if you look at this game right now, it looks competent, but it doesn't look like it plays great.
yeah.
This pistol... I have to say, this pistol does get old.
Oh my god. The other thing is, I'm not running because right now, shift is my press to talk key in vent. So if I try to talk, I start running, and I have a limited amount of run juice.
I think you should be talking all the time.
Yeah. I don't remember using running very much at all in this game because every time you take a step forward, it could spawn an enemy.
I should have gone to that secret that let you get the plasma gun early, but I didn't.
You screwed up.
I didn't screw up.
I have to say that I
didn't get it.
I quick-saved very frequently in this game. I think if you compared the number of times I pulled the trigger in this game to the number of times I quick-saved, the numbers would be... it would be difficult to tell which number was which, without labels.
I'm actually curious, does this game have autosaves? I don't even know if it does.
It does, I
I
think.
think at the beginning each level, but not like at story missions or level checkpoints.
Oh yeah, no. It's a very perfunctory autosave system.
Video link up requested. Connection established.
Marie, I can't believe you're still alive. I'm unable
So,
to return to Mars
is there
until all
actually an
passengers
in-universe
are
explanation for why you didn't
setting up a command
immediately
post
get
here.
possessed by the
Monitor
floating
status
skulls
reports of
and
the entire
die
base, tell
too?
the Central Authority and communicate with other
You were the
Uh,
chosen one.
It's your mission
yeah.
to link up with Bravo
You
team
are
and get
Flynn
That's
Taggart,
kinda
the
lame.
guy who kills
Head
demons and
toward
Doom.
Alpha Labs. It's the fastest way to find them. I'll update your PDA security clearance from here. Good job. And good luck.
That's essentially it. Yeah, no, there's no reason. And, okay, you
You're
see,
the
the thing
player
is, Josh,
character.
you'd be
You wanna play
surprised how
zombie
many
for the whole fucking game.
you'd be surprised how many stupid things this game has an explanation for. Like, there are machines in this game that are MacGuffins you require to drive the plot forward, and you can find like a video which explains how they're used to synthesize necessary chemicals on Mars. And like how they make long distance space flight possible. Yeah, there's all sorts of like borderline hard science stuff in this game. Like about how the munitions work.
Chicken is like weird for Doom.
And it's totally pointless and completely redundant, and even a little distracting, but I loved it.
Yeah, like how they
But
try
there
to,
is no
like,
explanation
lampshade
for
the
why
chainsaws.
you...
Yeah. Oh, the chainsaws. Yeah, that's great. There's like this whole like conversation chain with like, hey, look, we tried to order a bunch of drills and we ended up with 100 chainsaws. What the fuck are we gonna do with the chainsaw on Mars? And there's like a dozen back and forth emails like trying to shift blame and like, could somebody tell me what we're gonna do with these beaver tooths?
It's like that vault in Fallout 2, they got like 200 water chips. It's like, what the
Right,
fuck are we
yeah.
gonna do with all these water chips?
Like, you finally just find, like, a room where there's 100 of them in boxes.
Use them. Those guys pack a lot of firepower.
And, like, to be honest, if it just been, like, a lazy joke, like, if it had been, like, a one-off thing, like, chainsaws on Mars? What's up with that? Then I would have just, like, groaned. But the fact that they put so
Yeah.
much effort into the joke, I think actually makes it work really well.
The UAC is here to help you. Psychological services.
Like, it's really easy to just lazily roll your eyes. If you're gonna commit to your lampshade hanging, and like you're making fun of previous entries in the franchise, I can respect that. Like, they came up with a plausible reason why they would have chains on Mars, and then they spent a lot of time milking it for humor.
I may have missed something. Why is that robot able to distinguish between you and the zombies?
I'm gonna make up a fictional backstory thing and say body temperature.
They got a really fast patch through.
Shoot everything that's not Bob McBobson.
Yeah, the impressive thing was that Reed Rickles, the lead engineer, managed to get the patch through on time. It said he managed to program it while suffering massive blood loss from machine gun wounds all across his abdomen.
He managed to program it with a massive head wound from getting shot by Chris. For no reason.
I actually wonder, are those zombies cold? Because it's not even like they're zombies, they're just like possessed
It's
by
only been like
demons.
20 minutes.
Well, there's that.
Also, they're possessed by like hell skulls. Wouldn't that make them warmer?
Deep thoughts.
Are we going to get into the age-old question: is hell exothermic or endothermic?
And what this guy answered on his test will make you laugh and question reality. The kind of just like lame bounce when you hit that that barrel, or lack of bounce, was actually really amusing to me.
It's like the only game where I really don't want to aim for their heads because it's harder to hit and it gives you very little benefit.
Oh no, you have to hit them in the head. With this pistol?
No.
I don't know, I feel like
I
you
mean,
can soak
for
up a lot of
full
hits
account?
at their center mass. Yeah.